Hey everyone, how's it going? Hobbs Yoda here. Back with my video series of ranking and reviewing the Star Wars films from worst to best. And today we'll be talking about my number 5 spot. So today we're reviewing Return of the Jedi, the real original ending to the Skywalker saga. Definitely is the ending to Anakin Skywalker's story and his saga, which is really cool. And can I just say that Luke Skywalker himself as well is such a bad A in this movie too. I love it. Right from the beginning of this movie, we see him walk into Jabba's palace, and they already start foreshadowing hints of him possibly turning to the dark side for like later on in the film in the Emperor's throne room. They already start foreshadowing the possibility of this because we see him walk into Jabba's palace dressed in all black, has this like sick black glove on, and just force chokes the two guards. Just force chokes them out. It's like so awesome. Or like you can like already tell right from the beginning of the movie, right from the get go, that this is a new trained like Jedi master, like Luke Skywalker, and it's awesome. Now I do have a problem with the beginning of this movie, though. Unfortunately, I really love the opening sequence of this movie. Them going to save Han from Jabba's palace. I think it's lots of fun. There was actually originally a deleted scene at the beginning of this movie where we see, before Luke Skywalker gets to Jabba's palace, we see him creating his new lightsaber in a cave. And you can actually check this out in the Blu-ray. You can check it out there. And you can look it up on YouTube, actually. We see him creating and igniting his new green lightsaber. But this opening sequence on Jabba's palace and them rescuing Han is so much fun, and I think even though that seems really cool with him creating his lightsaber, we never get to see a Jedi create his lightsaber on screen. And even though that seems really cool, as I said, I think it's good they cut it out, because I think it was a really cool reveal in this fun sequence of them rescuing Han. It was a really cool reveal, revealing his new green lightsaber there, seeing like R2, shoot it out into the sky, and then him catching it and igniting it. It's this new green lightsaber color that we had never seen before. And then Luke starts going ham on everyone on the ship. It's such a great fun scene, and as I said, the opening sequence is really overall fun and great. Especially even watching Luke, fight the Rancor. That's awesome too. But I do have a problem with the opening sequence in this movie, and that's that as I get older and think about it, I watch that opening sequence of them all going in to rescue Han, and I think to myself, I'm like, okay, so what was the plan going in and saving Han? 'Cause, like, it doesn't seem like they went in with the plan, like, at all. Like, we don't even find out why Lando's there. Like, Lando's is there disguised as a guard, but we find no idea. We don't find out why. It would have been good to have, like, a scene, of him having, like, a secret, mic or whatever, like communicating with Luke under the mask or something, like telling him that Jabba needs 2 droids. So R2, he can work the sailor ship, so he'll be able to launch your lightsaber if you get captured. Also, he is in need of a new slave dancer, so you can send Leia in for that. But we don't get that. We don't really know what Luke's plan is going in to rescue Han, because like, you see, the droids show up, and like Luke has a message for Jabba saying that he's offering them the true droids as a gift. And then we have Leia go in, disguised as a bounty hunter, and she goes and tries to sneak into the room where Han is frozen in carbonite and tries to get him out. And then she gets captured, and that didn't go well. And so if Leia was going in and was trying to sneak in to grab Han, what was even the point of, offering the 2 droids, trying to offer the 2 droids as a trade for Han, And and then, like, even if they got Han, if they just succeed in getting Han, were they just gonna leave the droids there? Like, oh my god! It doesn't seem like there was a clear plan going into the thing. And, like, when you really, like, think too hard about it, which I know you shouldn't, it's Star Wars, but, like, when you really think about it, like, you realize it's like they all just went in there like winging it. It's like there wasn't really a plan. And you're like, what was their plan going into this thing? It's like so easy to pick apart. when you think about it, fortunately. Either way, though, as I said, it is a pretty fun opening sequence. And then, after they are able to rescue Han, and unfortunately also in that sequence, the only other problem I have with it is that Boba Fett goes out in like a super lame way, because they present him as a really cool character in the last movie, and then Han takes him out, comedic wise, accidentally bumping into him with like a stick or whatever while he's blind, and he falls into the Sarlacc pit, and that's the last we ever see of Boba Fett. It's just like, gosh dang it! But luckily, Mandalorian season 2 is bringing him back. Anyways, so yeah, after that whole fun opening sequence, though, them rescuing Han, and once Jabba's killed, by the way, that is true relationship goals right there. Han and Leia, like, you can be like Han, freaking have a hit on your head in this freaking gangster lord, like, named Jabba the Hutt is after you, and what does your girlfriend do? Your girl Leia, she just freaking chokes him out and, like, takes him out for you. Like, that is true relationship goals. Like, damn, yo. Anyways, though, after that amazing fun sequence of them rescuing Han, that is really confusing, though, when you think about it. Either way, after that's out of the way, Luke goes to see Yoda and Obi-Wan, and Yoda eventually passes away of old age, but he gives some great advice to Luke before he dies. And one thing I like about the scene is both Obi-Wan and Yoda talk to Luke here. And one thing that's interesting to note is that Obi-Wan, he's already lost, full faith in Vader. He's the one that failed him. And so, he tells Luke that the only way to stop us is by killing Vader, when Yoda, on the other hand, says, in order to complete your training, that you must confront Vader. So, it's interesting, because, it makes you think, I feel like Yoda knew that Luke could be the one to, like, turn him back, so that's really cool to see. And then, of course, Obi-Wan reveals to Luke that Leia is his sister, and this scene is so funny just because of how clueless Luke is, too. And I don't really feel like they could have handled this a little bit better in the movie. Like, I like the twist of them being brother and sister, but I feel like they could have handled it better. Because, like, Luke just seems so clueless in the scene. He's like, wait, Leia's my sister. He's like, yeah, no shit. It's like the only other woman in the galaxy. Who else is it going to be? And then, like, later on, when Leia finds out, she's like, I know. Like, somehow I've always known. He's like, whoa, pause. Okay. So I get the first time that you... No, but she says, I get the first time that she kissed Luke. They're about to die, whatever. But she's always known, so she didn't even kiss him the first time. And then I understand that the second time she kissed him was just to make Han jealous. But it's like, still, if you knew from the beginning, from like even before or after the first time he kissed you, and you're saying now that you somehow always know he's been your brother, and you went forward with that, it's a little weird. It's a little weird. Anyways, though, I do love the reveal, though, later, though, when, like, Han finds out. So that's played out pretty well. And again, I did like the brother-sister relationship between Luke and Leia in this movie, that reveal, and I like how Vader was able to use it to try to get Luke to use his dark side powers to anger him later on in the film, how he was able to sense that he had a sister. So I thought that was really cool. And another complaint, everything in the throne room at the end of this film is just a perfect, beautiful ending to the saga between Luke, the Emperor, and Vader. That whole final fight sequence, when Vader does get Luke to finally like let go of all his anger and like almost kill him. It's so symbolic to see, how Luke realizes that Vader is just like him when he sees, how he has a robotic hand just like right before he's about to kill him. And, how he decides that love's more important than anything, and he decides not to kill his family. And it's awesome because it's really the first time that someone has not left Vader, has refused to kill or leave him. Because, all of Anakin's life, you think about this, with even the prequel trilogy, everyone told him that they loved him, but then they left him. He first had to leave his mother, then he lost her, and then Padme, she leaves him once she finds out about the path that he's going down on. She's like, it's a path I can't follow. And then Obi-Wan tells him that he loves him too, but literally leaves him for dead. And then Luke is the only one, basically, to tell the Emperor that, he pretty much loves his father and there's nothing the Emperor can do about it, that he's not going to strike his father down. And then so it's awesome that, Vader sees that, and then he's reflecting. You can tell, it's so awesome that you can see the emotion in in Vader when he's wearing a helmet. By the way, he's just looking back and forth, at Luke being shocked and like what the Emperor is doing. You can see that conflict in his head, like letting his own son getting killed right now by the Emperor. And so it's such an awesome scene. Basically, like, it sends, the overall message at the end of this saga, that love conquers all, and seeing him, like, throw the Emperor over the shaft was awesome. Amazing ending to the series. Now, unfortunately, during this, there's also 2 other fight sequences going on near the end of this film, and I did enjoy the space battle, and Lando taking over the ship made sense. A lot of people complain about there being a second Death Star in this movie, but I thought it was really cool and made sense because the only reason there was a second Death Star is because the Emperor was using it as bait, just to lure them in as a trap. The second Death Star wasn't overall his plan. It was just there to lure the rebellion in. And then so there's also that third battle scene of them trying to shut down the shields for it on Endor with Han and Leia. And that's one of the problems that people have with this movie is the Ewoks. I actually like the Ewoks for the most part. A lot of people give the Ewoks a bunch of crap. Like, oh, they're just like little teddy bears. There's nothing vicious about them at all. I'm like, these things were about to eat them alive. They have stormtroopers' heads at the end of the film on sticks, on freaking pikes. Like, yeah, they're like little teddy bears. Little teddy bears of, Chuck Norris went to Bilderberg Workshop to try to create an army. And the Ewoks, I feel like, get too much crap, and it's because a lot of people back then, they wanted to see, Chewbacca's home planet, Kashyyyk, and thought it would have been cool if, like, we got, see more Wookiees instead. But I liked the message of the Ewoks because, it kind of showed the message that Yoda taught earlier in the last film, how size matters not, and how we were able to see all these little creatures without technology or anything, just using their civilization to defeat the New Age, with the stormtroopers. Just with all their civilization and working together and stuff, and how their size didn't matter once they all worked together. So yeah, overall, I really didn't mind the Ewoks in that final battle sequence. I think it's really cool when they first get to Endor too. That whole speeder bikes chase sequence is really good. But yeah, for the most part, I thought the final battle sequence with the Ewoks was really good too. Like I said, since there's like this tiny civilization with like no technology, I think it was really cool seeing all the clever ways that they came up with to take out the stormtroopers and like the ATSTs and stuff, like them planning out trip wires and like sabotage attacks where they just pop out the bushes and like freaking like hundreds of them would pile up on a group of stormtroopers, and then like again the trip wires and stuff. And I like how they get like the 2 logs like timed for when like the ATST walks by. It was like smash it. Like I thought that was really cool. It was really cool seeing all this clever stuff that they had to come up with. Now, unfortunately, I have problems with the final battle sequence too, though, because, yes, I will admit, though, there are still some ridiculous deaths. I think it is ridiculous how some of the stormtroopers go out, how they're, like, wearing all this armor and stuff, and then they're just being taken out by, like, rocks at the time. I think that's ridiculous. But for the most part, I think there is a lot of, cool, good stuff in it, though. I don't hate the Ewoks as much as everyone else does, and I actually like them for the most part. And then I love the celebration sequence at the end as well. Originally, in the original edition, the Ewoks had like a celebration song, which was really cool, but they cut it out in the Blu-ray edition. And while I liked the Ewok song, I liked the new version better, because in the new version we get to see all the planets celebrating the defeat of the Emperor as well, the fall of the Empire. Because we see that this little battle, didn't just affect, Luke, Han, and Leia and the whole rebellion. We see how it affected and how much it means to, like, all these other, planets around the galaxy as well. So I thought that was really cool. And, of course, at the end of the film, Luke sees the Force ghost of Yoda, Ben, and then, with him redeeming Vader, which was really cool. And then Vader, of course, telling Luke that he was right, and to tell Leia that he was right. It was really cool seeing Vader's redemption and seeing his Force Ghost be able to show up at the end too. I thought that was really cool. I actually think it was cool, that they allowed it to be Hayden Christensen in the new edit, popping up, and a lot of people are like, well, that makes no sense because like Hayden Christensen's like super young, while like Obi-Wan's ghost is when he's like an old man. Like same with Yoda. Like that's not fair. To be fair though, Darth Vader and Anakin were two different people. Darth Vader was Anakin fully consumed by the dark side. They were two different people. It's like with Kylo Ren. People are like, well, why didn't Anakin ever appear in the sequel trilogy and like talk Kylo Ren of all the bad stuff he was doing? It's like, listen, Kylo Ren worshipped Darth Vader, not Anakin Skywalker. So he sees Anakin Skywalker as like a weak version of Vader. He doesn't even see him as so like they're two different people. So that's why I think it makes sense having the younger version of Anakin show up, because that's when Anakin Skywalker, truly died. But I know you can also make the argument, though, like, well, no, he got redeemed at the end of the movie when he defeated the Emperor, so he was Anakin Skywalker before he died, too. But I don't know. For the most part, he was Anakin Skywalker and he was young, though, so I didn't mind it, and I think it was cool to give that to Hayden Christensen. So, to be honest, I mean, I know some people prefer, the original version, seeing, like, the older Anakin show up as a Force Ghost, and some people like that they gave it to Hayden Christensen. I honestly don't mind either way. Either way, though, I thought it was a beautiful ending. I really did like Return of the Jedi for the most part. I just thought some of the killing sequences of the stormtroopers could have been a little bit more believable and less ridiculous. And thought the opening sequence could have been a little bit more planned out. But overall, for the most part, this movie is entertaining pretty much all the way through. And I thought they ended off the saga brilliantly with this film. And for me, the Return of the Jedi gets 4 out of 5 Kyber crystals. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are on Return of the Jedi, and I'll see y'all later on for my next review when we talk about my number 4 spot on my list. See y'all then. Peace.